It was a cold morning that day when we found the dead body. No evidence, no witnesses, no leads. That is why we had to call the detective. He was, how could you say it, a man, or rather a plane, that lived a life on the edge. Always endorsing string cheese, running around, with that two-shot ringer of his. Thought he could accidentally kill one of my officers, but we had no choice. He studied the crime, and after an hour, he made a statement.
He is dead.
Like no one noticed. You get why I'm not exactly fond of him. But he continued.
And he has been murdered by the infamous E.A. the Ripper.
We asked, how did you find it out? The victim had a letter in its pocket. It read, unless you get it done by yesterday, it will be in the game. The body had bugs already crawling over it, and that damn detective put it all together. E.A. the Ripper striked again. But this time, after the detective thought of turning the body on his back, it turned out to be the detective's personal favorite, Mr. Codemaster. He denied it at first, but it was clear it was Mr. Codemaster. This meant that now it was personal for him. This was the 15th victim of the killer, and the detective could not just stand there. For him, there was no road back. There's only one path, and that is to find the killer and get him behind bars. So it was time for the detective to revisit some old files. He entered the basement of the police station and started to dig through. First victim of the infamous E.A. Ripper, it was just a small bullfrog. He killed the frog on a sunny day, presumably when he was just a youngster. The frog had an important job of keeping these two sticks standing. And after its passing, an evil fly has committed the worst crime of all and split the sticks in half. The sticks collapsed, and then the frogs attacked the random bee village for no reason whatsoever. But this no longer ties to the story. Plus, it's not considered a crime because let's leave it at that. But the real red alert was the second murder. It was a calm Christmas night when Mr. Westwood was taking his beloved dog on a walk. But the dog steered Mr. Westwood into an alley, following a smell of bacon, just to find a leaded treat at the end of the road. E.A. the Ripper did not leave them with a chance. One gunshot and 28 stab wounds. But this time the killer left a note. It's in the game. Unluckily for the killer, we were able to find his phone number in contact of Mr. Westwood. We decided not to call or try anything, since there was no way of getting anything out of it, but we decided to keep it for the time of need. But the biggest breakthrough came with the Mrs. Black Box. This was a potential love interest of E.A. the Ripper, and there was probably a positive relationship until, in one of the letters, E.A. the Ripper replied, "It's no longer in the game." 40 days after the letter was sent, the body of Mrs. Blackbox was found. The crime was horrible, but we managed to find a lot of information about the killer. He clearly had expectations of everyone doing what he wanted, and just a slight mishap would send the person 6 feet under. There was also mention that E.A. Ripper with Mrs. Blackbox once visited a restaurant in Redwood City. The detective finally left the basement. 3 days have passed while he was down there, and after attending Mr. Codemaster's funeral and promising to find the killer, he booked a private jet. He partied hard through the entire flight. In fact, so hard that he envisioned himself in Minecraft. After arriving, he immediately set to work. He set himself up in the middle of a city and called the number, pretending to be Mr. Kunos. The Ripper picked up and asked where did he get the number, but after the Ripper found out that Mr. Kunos knew a thing or two about cars and simulation, the Ripper decided to give him an address of meeting point. It was in London, because they needed it to keep it classy. So the detective parties hard back to London. And arrives to an abandoned warehouse near the Thames River. He chooses not to call for reinforcement, since this has gotten too personal. The Ripper arrives in his Vauxhall Vectra, and after he gets out, he realizes that Mr. Kunos is in fact the detective. He pulls out the gun, but the detective jumps for cover. The detective pulls out his Derringer and is ready to make the 2 barrels count, but after he peeks around the corner, there is no one. He proceeds moving around the containers with cargo, but the Ripper jumps at the detective from the top of the container. He tries to cut detective with a knife, but detective uses string cheese and starts strangling the Ripper with cheese. But in the moment of justice, he remembers he is a detective, so he lets go of the string cheese and cuffs the Ripper.